Welcome to another edition of On Point. I'm Andy Martins. We're live on TV and we're live on Facebook to a cold November 12th, Tuesday, November 12th. We're going to change gears on the show today. You might want to think of automobile service, the cold weather coming in November, or you might think of travel to somewhere warmer. Well, I've got the terrific lady to answer all those questions, Kathy Golvan from CAA, and she'll be my guest live in the studio right after these messages.
Recently, the Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
We're back on Point, live on TV, live on Facebook for a fairly cold Tuesday, November 12th. But the good news is the rest of the month is going to moderate out on temperatures. We're going to talk to CAA, Kathy Golvan, about travel, automobile service, and a lot of other things. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Good morning to you, Andy.
We thought we'd start out with this. Your background, if you can briefly outline for our viewers how you got to the CAA on Great Northern Road. You have a very spectacular background in travel and serving customers.
I started in travel in 1986. I'm originally from Kapuskasing.
Right.
I worked in Cap for about 22 years, and I thought I wanted to leave travel. So I did actually leave the position I was in and just put my resume out on Monster, and then I got a call from CAA to come to Sault Ste. Marie. So I moved here about 11 and a half years ago, and I managed the local store. It is a retail store. We offer so much more than roadside assistance.
Right, and a lot of people don't kind of understand or know that because they think that's all you guys do, but it's a lot more than that.
Exactly. They'll walk into our store and they're just amazed at the products that we have in there. Recently, within the last year, we started offering travel again.
Right.
So, and hopefully in mid-December, we'll be offering a home and auto insurance agent there. So we'll be a full-service store come the end of the year.
Wonderful. And you mentioned before our live broadcast that you guys really do a great job in delivering what your members want. You're member-based.
We are a member-based organization. Your fees keep us going,
right.
So the more involvement we have from the community, the better it is for our store.
Right, exactly. Can you outline a little bit about CAA for the viewers that don't know in the history? Because CAA has been around a long time in Ontario.
It's kind of funny when you look back at it. CAA was actually developed by a man by the name of Dr. Doolittle, if you can believe that, way back in 1923. And I was just reading a little about the history of myself, and back then, let's say you wanted a flat tire change, that service actually was only offered to women.
Wow.
But we're an equal opportunity company, so now we actually will offer the service to men also as part of the membership.
I'll tell you that usually it's the other way around.
That's right.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yes. Yeah.
Since you're bringing back travel, that's a good thing. What are the common questions that people ask when booking travel?
Number one would be the cost, and where are people going?
Right.
The world has changed within the last, I'd say, since 9/11. So people are really interested in areas where there's not so much of a history of violence. But as you know, it's all over, and we just have to keep on top of what the trends are.
Right, exactly. And people get confused when, let's say, maybe it's not a good thing, but you can still use your driver's license when you're flying with, let's say, for example, Porter from Sault Ste. Marie to Toronto. But people shouldn't get too comfortable, because you try that going across to Sault, Michigan, you're going to be in trouble. You need a better than just a driver's license.
Yes. Actually, I do know when you're driving across to Sault, Michigan, if you have a birth certificate and a driver's license, they will let you through, but they do complain about it.
Oh, they will? I
yes.
wasn't aware of. See, it was great having you on the show. I wasn't aware of that.
Yes. They don't like it because they've got a hand put in all your information into the system.
Oh,
and they
I
will
see.
tell you that it's preferred that you do have a passport. Although flying, they would prefer you have the passport or a Nexus card, but I hear through the grapevine that they're requiring a passport.
But if you do that, if you get away with it here, though, would you not get in trouble? Like if you're at LAX or in Miami, the airport, they can get stickier within the continental United States?
Exactly, yeah. The more information you have and identification you have, and there's nothing that proves you're a Canadian more than a Canadian passport.
Right. What about going, people would say, well, why do you need to go through a travel agent? Isn't it easier booking it yourself and saving money? But that may not be a misconception.
That's right. What happened, if we're looking back to a few years ago when flights became more affordable to the general public, because back when I first started, the general public really didn't fly. It was more or less businessmen that did the flying, due primarily to the cost of the airline tickets.
Right.
But as time has things have evolved, it is quite competitive, and as you know, like we were discussing, if you look at bus and rail service, it doesn't really exist anymore as it did 20-25 years ago.
People didn't really have a choice. They had to put up with the 9.5-hour journey to Toronto from here.
That's right. With the evolution, of course, of the internet, there are more varieties out there. So when you're booking with a travel agent, the big misconception is that you can do a better job on your own by researching and then looking at various different internet sites and booking via those. Not necessarily, but the misconception is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point, because we seem to forget Porter came here in May of 2011. Before that, in the 90s, and travel was unaffordable. $800-900 return to Toronto. It was ridiculous.
Exactly, and that's why the general public really didn't use the service. But like I say, as it's evolved, it's gotten much more competitive and much more affordable.
I stand corrected. remember in the late 90s, we did have a second airline, CP, I believe,
Yes.
came in here, but it was short-lived. It didn't last as long as Porter has lasted in Sault Ste. Marie.
That's right. Porter's actually servicing the downtown area, which is was opportunity for them, and they took advantage of it. A lot of business people, of course, are going to downtown Toronto. They don't want the trouble of having to come down from Pearson into the city, so they're right in the business district.
Now, people often wonder the best price for travel, but they're always worried about the best price for flights and a hotel as well. This concerns them. When you're booking a travel package, they're probably asking you consistently, am I getting the best price for all of it?
Exactly. With CAA, if you are a member of our company, we do not charge service fees, and that is something that most travel agencies have imposed since it has become more competitive. The airlines provide no remuneration to agencies for booking them, so to to increase their revenue, they do charge service fees. That is a member benefit from CAA. We do not charge service fees on airline tickets.
Right.
And we also offer negotiated rates with hotels. The CAA AAA offers with hotels, which sometimes are cheaper.
Right. Let's talk about the cost of hotels, because I get asked this all the time, and I've seen it too in my travels, to explain why the hotel costs in downtown Toronto and Montreal, I was just there on the weekend, they have risen quite a bit to $200-300 a night. Maybe you can explain for our viewers why the hotel prices have gone up so much.
It goes hand in hand with what's going on in the downtown core of those cities. If you have a large concert going on, it drives the demand for the hotel room up, so they're allowed to charge the rates that they are charging.
Right. So in fact, one can say that the hotels and the airlines literally may be changing their prices every day.
They control the price, and they control how many seats they're going to let at certain prices.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk a little bit about the services you offer on Great Northern Road, not far from ONTV, because people don't realize what extra services you offer.
That's right. So we are a retail store. Besides selling roadside assistance memberships, we sell travel products such as luggage, RFID protected backpacks, credit card sleeves, wallets, all what you would need to travel. Besides that, like I say, we do have full service travel agency now, so we can take care of your travel needs. And also, like I said, in December, we will be able to provide you with home and auto insurance. Another big product that we do offer is travel insurance, which encompasses health insurance, cancellation insurance.
Right.
We offer products for persons traveling, let's say 2-3 times a week across to Sault, Michigan, to make sure they are covered should anything happen.
Right. Great, Kathy. Stay right there. We'll take a couple quick commercial breaks, and we'll be right back on OnPoint.
Perfect.
Welcome back to On Point on a very cold Tuesday, November 12th. We're live on TV and live on Facebook. We're talking to a delightful lady, Kathy Colvin. She's a manager at CAA right here on Great Northern Road in Sault Ste. Marie. And welcome back to the show, Kathy.
Thanks, Andy.
People might not realize, let's talk about this right off the top, that you're in the South Central region. That kind of, we were talking about that before the broadcast. It confuses people.
Yeah, they just assume we're in Northern Ontario, so we belong to CAA North and East, but we don't. We're the only store in the North that actually belongs to the Southern Club. So when you're looking online for us, you do have to punch in caasco.ca.
Now, the Southern Club would include Barrie and Toronto and probably those cities down in the GTA.
Exactly. Unusual, though, we do have another club in Ontario. It's Niagara, and they are a standalone club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did CAA give any reason why they put you guys in the South Central region?
You know, I really don't know. It was prior to the time when I started with CAA, and I think the people actually who orchestrated that amalgamation of our store with the Southern Club are no longer with us. So I really couldn't reach out and ask.
Do you hear that feedback from your members that they're kind of confused and, hey, I had a hard time trying to find you?
Yes, exactly. CAA, of course, is the Canadian Automobile Association. We're across Canada, but every province has its own club, and in Ontario we have 3. We get asked all the time for persons. I know on our website you can punch in your postal code and it will direct you to the Southern Club. But if you live, let's say, in Elliott Lake, it directs you to North and East. But yet the clients will come in from that club. But we do honor most of the specials that we honor with our members. We will give them the same.
Right, Elliott Lake's only 2 hours away, and yet they're in a different region.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
We were talking before the break about buying travel insurance.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I've been guilty of this. I haven't gone over to Sault, Michigan for a while, but you kind of say, oh, well, nothing's going to happen if I go over for a day. Or that's really important, because if it does, you can get into a lot of trouble if you're caught over there without health insurance.
Exactly. Everybody, it's a joke. They'll come in, they'll say, well, if I get sick, I'm just going to drive over the bridge back home. The thing is, though, is let's say you have a slip and fall in a store in the States. It's not going to be your choice to drive back. That store will call an ambulance, because now the onus is on them. They're afraid of you retaliating against the store, so they're going to make sure that you're brought to their healthcare.
Right.
Yeah. So it is. We do have many clients who do buy our annual plans. Let's say a 4-day annual will cover you for 4 days at a time, as often as you travel for a year period. Very reasonably cost, it's something that we do recommend.
Only takes that one time, and if you have a stroke, things can happen very quickly, and you can end up think, oh, nothing, it'll be fine, but you can get into a lot of trouble if you don't watch it.
Exactly. Even going out of province, we've seen that happen in Sudbury a couple of years back, where a girl was visiting Timmins from Alberta, who was pregnant and had her baby and needed to be airlifted to Sudbury, and then all of a sudden the Alberta government was not covering the charges. We wouldn't cover the charges, and there was quite an argument going on between OHIP and the Alberta government, and they split the cost. But that's a one-off, and you can never guarantee that our government will step up for you if you get sick in another province.
Not in this day and age.
I was going to say something there, but I thought,
the foreign government. But can you give our viewers, like, let's say somebody would go to Sault, Michigan maybe 3-4 times a month. What is the best priced policy that one could buy to give them an idea?
Now, it does go by age. So under 60, you could probably get a year plan, a 4-day annual plan for for $40-50 for the year, and
That's
it'll cover
pretty
you.
reasonable.
It is very good. Like there are, like all travel insurance, there are rules that you must follow, and there are all policies in place for that age group. Everything must be stable 3 months prior to every visit for to have that illness covered.
Right.
Yeah.
So much fun talking about travel. Now, talking about that, you have a lot of snowbirds that go down to Texas or Florida. That healthcare for 6 months, now that's a different league. You're going to pay more. Again, it's based on age.
Yeah, and at your pre-existing health conditions. That's you know, the length of stay, your age, and your pre-existing health conditions are all taken into consideration when a quotation is given.
I've heard some snowbirds have literally, the older we get, they may be priced out of the market. They can't afford to go down there anymore because of the healthcare costs.
Yes, exactly. Companies, and I'm thinking back when I first started and we had Blue Cross that used to cover everybody, and it used to be a blanket coverage. It didn't matter your health history, but then it became an issue where we had a lot of seniors going to Florida and getting cataract surgery. It was the big joke that they bought the insurance here, went down to Florida, got their surgery done during the winter, and it was all covered. And that has driven the cost of insurance for those.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gone higher and higher. Let's talk a little bit about business travel versus vacations. A lot of people think that all the travel is priced equally, but it really isn't, is it?
It is not. Vacation travel or leisure travel, that type of travel comes with a lot of restrictions. Being non-refundable is primarily, doesn't allow you to make changes. Business travel, they tend to pay more, but it gives them a lot more flexibility when they need to cancel or change. Right,
and even people think, well, it's not fair, but airlines such as Porter and others, their point system of getting more points, of course, happens when you pay more for travel.
That's right.
If you buy the basic fare like I do, you're not going to get a lot of points for that travel.
You're not the only one that buys the basic fare.
We were talking before the broadcast that Porter's putting people to sit in the back if you buy the basic fare, but I guess that's what the airline chooses to do.
Yeah, they stripped away, to lower the cost of the ticket, they stripped away certain inclusions, which was a free bag or free seat selection. And they're saying, you know what, for those people who don't really mind not bringing a bag with them or where they sit, they offer them a special rate.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about location and pricing and volume. It's true, people like, for example, Las Vegas, because of the volume they have, I've never been there, but you get better pricing, and travel pricing is always based on volume, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, and you know, when you're thinking, if you stay with the same airline from point A to point B, they're able to offer you a through fare. But if you're connecting with other airlines to get to your destination, those airlines want to be paid also, so they're combining fares.
Can we, for our viewers, can we connect? Well, I haven't been to Las Vegas, but using that as an example, can we connect with the same airline from Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan to Detroit and then to Vegas?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Out of Detroit, like Toronto, because it's such a larger city, they have many airlines that service that airline. Going out of Michigan, Sault, Michigan, though, they're like us. We have Air Canada, they have Delta.
Right. Have cruises received a bad name, Kathy, of what's happened over the last couple of years? You probably have customers coming in, and we talked about it, and you're right, either you like a cruise or you don't.
Yeah. A lot of people find that there's not enough on a cruise ship for them to do. Not always all-inclusive, such as land trips are, and there's always added costs, and they're just afraid of that end dollar when you finish your trip, how much you're going to have to pay over and above what you've already paid.
Right.
And like I say, you're on the water, and they're finding they may be bored not
Right.
enough for them to do on there.
You're the expert in travel. Maybe you can explain to our viewers, of course, we've had to endure that for years in Sault Ste. Marie here. Short haul flights, more often than not after Porter has come now, but there always have been more expensive than long haul flights. I used to hear, well, it's cheaper to go to Europe than fly to Toronto before Porter came here.
Yeah, and another problem with that, though, is also our tax structure in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we're overtaxed.
Yes, and that's what's happening. That's contributing to the overall cost, as well as airport fees are another addition to there. Even though when every airport, every country is going to tax you somewhat, in Canada we're just a little bit taxed a little bit more than most.
Right, right. Well, exactly, and it has to play itself into the final price, doesn't it?
Exactly. Everybody wants a piece of the pie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
yeah, yeah.
What is the biggest fear, again, that people have using a travel agent in our remaining minutes? If you can give me a quick answer on that.
Sure. I really think the biggest fear or misconception is that we cannot give you the best deal out there.
Right.
We do have negotiated rates, and we have preferred suppliers that we do deal with, and we will look hard for you to make sure that we can offer you the best price policy possible.
Wonderful. Kathy, you've been such a delightful guest. We have to leave it there, but thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, thanks, Andy.
All right, we'll be back to wrap the show up right after these messages.
This is On TV. That's good.
Welcome back to On Point. We've been live on TV, live on Facebook. I wanted to thank Kathy Goldman from CAA on Great Northern Road, a delightful guest and a delightful chat on automobile insurance and travel. Next week on TV and on Point, we have Louise Kite-Cotet, her first appearance for On Point, and Dan Hollingsworth, Executive Director of the EDC. Until then, it's Andy Martins. Have a great day for On Point. We'll see you then.